Introduction. In Module 2, we shift our focus from domestic issues to international politics. Here, we will explore the role of new states in shaping global institutions and norms. We will examine their positions in the United Nations, their relationship with international law, their responses to imperialism and neocolonialism, and their role as both producers and consumers of international order. 2.1 New states in the United Nations. One of the first arenas where new states asserted themselves was the United Nations. Membership in the UN provided recognition, legitimacy, and a platform to voice their concerns. Newly independent countries quickly expanded the UN's membership, changing its character from a Eurocentric organization into a more global body. They used the General Assembly to push for decolonization, development assistance, and equality among states. Through voting blocs, such as the Afro-Asian Group, new states influenced resolutions on issues of self-determination, apartheid, and economic justice. Thus, the UN became both a stage for asserting sovereignty and a forum for collective bargaining by new states. 2.2 International law and the new states. New states were also active in shaping and contesting international law. They emphasized the principle of sovereign equality, arguing that all states, regardless of size or power, deserved equal respect. They challenged doctrines inherited from colonialism, insisting on the illegitimacy of territorial acquisition by force and the right to self-determination. They promoted new legal concepts, such as the right to development and permanent sovereignty over natural resources. This transformed international law from a system that had historically justified empire into one more responsive to the needs of post-colonial societies. 2.3 International military order. In the military sphere, new states faced a dilemma. Most were militarily weak but were located in strategically significant regions. During the Cold War, they often became sites of proxy conflicts between the superpowers. Many new states sought to avoid alignment, but others entered military alliances to secure protection and aid. The issue of nuclear weapons was particularly significant, as new states demanded disarmament and sought to prevent nuclear proliferation. Thus, the military order of the 20th century was deeply influenced by the voices and vulnerabilities of newly independent countries. 2.4 International economic order. Perhaps the most pressing concern of new states was economic inequality. They argued that the global economic system remained structured to favor former colonial powers and industrialized nations. Through forums such as the UN Conference on Trade and Development, they pushed for reforms in trade, aid, and investment. They demanded a new international economic order, advocating for fairer prices for raw materials, better access to markets, and control over multinational corporations. Although these demands were only partially met, they highlighted the economic dimension of post-colonial struggles. 2.5 International morality. Beyond law and economics, new states also contributed to shaping international morality. They emphasized principles of racial equality, human rights, and solidarity among oppressed peoples. Movements against apartheid in South Africa and against racial discrimination globally were strongly supported by post-colonial states. Their moral authority as nations emerging from oppression gave weight to these campaigns. 2.6 Neutralism and non-alignment. One of the most distinctive contributions of new states to world politics was the policy of neutralism and non-alignment. Leaders such as Jawaharlal Nehru of India, Josip Broz Tito of Yugoslavia, and Gamal Abdel Nasser of Egypt articulated a vision where new states would not align themselves with either the American or Soviet bloc. The non-aligned movement, established in 1961, became a powerful forum for asserting independence, resisting superpower dominance, and promoting cooperation among new states. Non-alignment was not always strictly followed, but it represented an important attempt to carve out space for agency in a polarized world. 2.7 Imperialism and neocolonialism. Finally, new states confronted the reality that political independence did not always mean full freedom. Many argued that neocolonialism, indirect domination through economic dependency, cultural influence, or political pressure, replaced traditional colonialism. Western powers, often through multinational corporations or aid programs, continue to exercise significant influence. Some states turned to the Soviet Union as an alternative, though these too sometimes created dependencies. Intellectuals like Kwame Nkrumah popularized the term neocolonialism, warning that without true economic independence, political sovereignty was incomplete. This critique remains relevant in contemporary debates about globalization and development. Module 2 Summary. In this module, we explored how new states positioned themselves in the international order. They reshaped the United Nations, influenced international law, challenged economic inequalities, and introduced concepts like non-alignment. They also raised fundamental questions about sovereignty, justice, and the persistence of imperial power in new forms. Course conclusion. We have now completed the course on new states in world politics. In Module 1, we examined the collapse of imperial rule in Asia and Africa, the domestic forms of government adopted by new states, and their main preoccupations. In Module 2, we studied their engagement with international institutions, law, military and economic orders, and their critiques of imperialism and neocolonialism, culminating in the policies of neutralism and non-alignment. Together, these modules highlight the profound ways in which new states have reshaped global politics since the mid-20th century. Their struggles for sovereignty, equality, and development continue to resonate in contemporary debates about world order.